Hello, this is Sarah's Living with MS. Today I want to talk about my MS diagnosis story. If you haven't already, please go back to my channel and watch my previous video on early MS symptoms. I created this channel to support the MS community. I was diagnosed in May of 2019. My symptoms started about 3 to 4 years before that. The biggest symptom I had was my leg. My right leg didn't work right, is what I always thought it was. I thought it was a knee injury, but that was the biggest symptom I had that made me actually do something about it and go to the doctor. I thought it was a knee injury that I injured again or something. I had no idea, but I just knew that my leg wouldn't work right. After it started at 30 minutes of walking, and then it slowly progressed to about 10 minutes. I'd walk for 10 minutes and then my leg would start to not work, is what I called it. I told my PCP, they recommended an orthopedic surgeon. They did an x-ray, they said that everything was fine. They thought, if you're in pain, then you need to go to a physical therapist to work on that. I said, I'm not in pain, but it doesn't work right. I didn't really know how to explain it at that time. I still was really hard to explain, but they said, PT is the only thing that we can offer you. So I'm like, okay, well, it's an injury, hopefully this will work. I went to a physical therapist, and that was just a waste of time. I mean, they did some exercises with me, but it didn't really, I just felt like they weren't listening to me, and they would just, get these exercises done and get out. So I went to like 3 sessions and then I stopped. But my leg was not getting any better, so I thought I just need to get a second opinion. So I went to another orthopedic surgeon. Again, they recommended physical therapy. That was my only option. Again, I just felt like, what else can I do? So I went to physical therapy, but this time I had a really good physical therapist that was listening to me and asking me the right questions so I could, figure out what was going on, and they could figure out what was going on. So after the second session, she advised that it was something with a spine connection or something like that. I mean, she didn't know exactly, but she said, I want to recommend you to see a spine specialist. So I did. She recommended a really good one, and I went to go see that doctor, and they did an exam, and again realized that something wasn't right. They didn't know what it was, but he knew that it was something with my spine or brain, so he recommended ordered a 4-hour head and spine MRI. This was absolutely a horrible process of getting this MRI, but I was like really ready for some answers. I did that. And I went back when the results were in. He showed me a picture of my brain and spine, and he said, these are lesions on your brain. And I was like, lesions on my brain, lesions. Like, what is that? Is that, cancer? Is that, I had no idea what that meant. Like, in my head, do I have brain damage? Like, no idea. I didn't even think multiple sclerosis ever. I just was like, and he said, I started crying. He's like, this is MS, but I can't diagnose that. I'm not a neurologist. You have to see a neurologist for the official diagnosis. So again, I started crying. Luckily, my husband was with me. And I really, really recommend that when you go to these kinds of appointments, that you have someone with you that can advocate for you and speak and ask questions and make sure that all of your concerns are addressed, because I didn't even know what to say. I just wanted to leave. And he was there for me. We made the appointment with the neurologist. I saw the neurologist about a week or 2 later, knowing this time that, it was pretty much MS. It was just kind of the final confirmation. They did a body exam, blood work. I had an eye test. The only thing I didn't do was the spinal tap, which is usually one of the things that you do for final confirmation. With the symptoms and my brain and spine lesions, they felt comfortable diagnosing me without it, and they did diagnose me with the RRMS, and that's relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis. And it was really, really hard. It was like, my first thought was that I didn't want to be a burden on my family. I just thought, I'm supposed to be like the strong mom that eats well and exercises and takes care of everything, and that's just not the way it was going to be anymore. And I was worried, like, is my husband going to leave me? Is he going to just not want to deal with all this extra drama and work that it is going to be for him, and are my kids going to be embarrassed? Like, all these thoughts go through your head. It's life-changing. If this is the first video of mine you are watching, please go back to my channel and watch my previous video on early MS symptoms. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.